When I was young, I could spend hours in the water. It's a place that is quiet. You hear things above and under the ocean that you wouldn't normally hear anywhere else. The sounds that you hear are a reminder of how fragile this world is. They're a reminder that we are a tiny species in a massive ecosystem called Earth. My name is Dr. Estefanía Pihen Gonzále, and I am a sustainability educator. So there's this very special place in Costa Rica, Bahía Culebra. My father would take me there all the time so we could admire these beautiful, mysterious coral and the whole reef that exists in this particular part of the Pacific coast of Costa Rica. But then with the years of tourism and development, environmental degradation arrived, and I watched the reef die. I went from watching this beautiful, colorful place be alive to be dead. How do you not want to take action when you see that? I was really lucky that I was able to meet scientists that were working for the protection of this reef. They told me, well, yes, we are also heartbroken, beyond heartbroken. You can't describe the pain that you feel when you see this place all of a sudden dead. And it takes thousands of years for these to be built by nature. But these scientists told me, there's a thing called conservation science that we can use to drive policies that ensure that this never happens again. So that was the beginning of my second love for environmentalism and science. So while in Costa Rica, I transitioned from working in marine conservation and marine science to environmental education. I did that for 8 years. So I came to the States to continue growing professionally and find more opportunities where I could implement my passion, my knowledge. So now I have a master's and a doctorate in education for sustainable development. And I have decided to devote my career to working with youth, particularly youth that comes from traditionally marginalized communities. Today, I'm the program director for Climate Action Pathways for Schools, or CAPS. So CAPS provides hands-on experiential learning internships focused on climate action, and we do this work with students across California that are particularly affected by climate change. I decided to work with youth because they're the ones that are inheriting the mess that we have created. What makes my work most gratifying is listening from the students how excited and grateful they are to find opportunities to take action. Because they're exposed constantly to the doom and gloom and the consequences, but we don't provide them with enough opportunities to get involved. They're not just interested in another internship that can help them to enter a nice university. They want that knowledge so they can come back some years later and help their community thrive and help the people that live there. And I always tell students, yes, it's really overwhelming when you start looking at that. But when you have the knowledge, you have the responsibility to share that knowledge.
My name is Anayeli Ramirez, and I am currently a student at UC Berkeley studying chemical engineering. I am from the Central Valley, Porterville, California. In my community, I really did notice firsthand the effects of climate change. I was in elementary school when we had a really big drought. I remember a lot of people in our community work in agriculture, so they were left without a job. The fruit wasn't ripe enough. They didn't have enough water. Their wells would dry up, so I could see how it really affected everyone in our community. I learned about climate action pathways my junior year of high school, and I was really intrigued by what they were doing in terms of climate action. I decided to apply and be involved and help mitigate the effects of climate change, especially in our school district. Some people from my community have said how one person doesn't really make a difference, but I try to encourage them and say that one person does make a difference. We all just have to start somewhere and join as a community and try to make a difference in mitigating climate change.
The greatest impact that I hope to create is to inspire thousands of students from across the world into getting into a green career. I'm hoping that the green economy becomes driven and, like I said, dominated by students from these different communities. So there's diversity in socioeconomic backgrounds, in cultures, in all sorts of views. I believe that the more diverse and inclusive this green economy is, the more diversity in solutions, in actions that we're gonna have.
Everyone has to be part of the solution in some way.
Right now, the worst thing you could do is not take action.
I'm very passionate about teaching the younger generation, and I really just hope that my knowledge doesn't stop at me.
I think the biggest thing for me is knowing that I can make an impact somewhere.
Now more than ever is the time for all of us to tell the youth that they can. They need to be surrounded by voices that tell them, you can. You can join this career, you can join this action, you can join this project. They're already surrounded by information that says it's not possible. Well, we need to be dominant. We need to be above that message, and we need to be reminding them every single day that they can.